DuoTale English.
where every story teaches you English. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to DuoTale English. I am Lena.
And I am Marcus.
Okay, simple question for you today.
And I am ready. Okay, simple question. I am ready.
How was your day?
That is a simple question. How was my day? You know what? If I'm being completely honest, it was a lot. A lot happened. I was swamped this morning, completely swamped. And then around 2, I just hit a wall. Like my brain said, that's it, I'm done. No more processing, goodbye.
Your brain said goodbye. I know that exact feeling, the 2 o'clock wall.
The 2 o'clock wall is real. And then I had a much-needed break. Proper coffee, 10 minutes outside, and I came back and I was able to knuckle down and actually finish what I needed to finish. So overall, it was a full day, but I got through it.
That is a really good answer, Marcus. That is such a better answer than fine or busy. And that right there is actually today's whole episode in miniature. We just used 4 of today's vocabulary phrases in 2 sentences.
Did we? Let me count. Swamped, hit a wall, much-needed break, knuckle down. Yes, 4 phrases in a completely natural, spontaneous answer to the question, how was your day?
And that is exactly what we're doing today, because most English learners, when someone asks, how was your day, they say fine, or busy, or okay. And those answers are not wrong, but they are also not really saying anything. They're closing the door of the conversation instead of opening it.
And today, we are going to open that door wide. We are going to walk through an entire day, from the tired morning to the restless night, and give you the real, natural, emotionally rich vocabulary that English speakers actually use when they talk about their days. Not textbook vocabulary, real conversation vocabulary.
This is our word tour episode, and we have 10 phrases for you today. Beautiful, useful, expressive phrases, all from real daily life, all in the context of a full, honest conversation about what a day actually feels like.
And before we get into it, welcome to everyone who's new here. On DuoTale English, we upload every single day. Every day, new episode, new conversation, new vocabulary, new practice. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss one. We're here every day for you.
This episode is perfect for B1 and B2 learners and strong beginners who are ready to level up their vocabulary. The pace is natural but clear, the phrases are rich but accessible, and by the end, you will have 10 new ways to answer the question, how was your day? Ready?
Ready. Let's start the day.
Okay, it's 7 in the morning, the alarm has gone off, you open your eyes and... honestly, the morning has not started well, because last night you tossed and turned for hours. You could not sleep properly. Every time you were almost there, your brain woke you up again with some random worry, and you're not rested, not even slightly.
Toss and turn. Can we start with that phrase? Because I think this is one that people really feel but often don't have the English for.
Yes, to toss and turn means to move around a lot in bed at night because you can't sleep. You keep turning from one side to the other, your body is restless, your mind is restless, and the result is you get almost no real sleep and you wake up feeling worse than when you went to bed. For example, I tossed and turned all night. I could not switch my brain off. Or she was exhausted, but she kept tossing and turning until 3 in the morning. Repeat after me. I tossed and turned all night. I tossed and turned all night.
And I love this phrase because it's so physical. You can picture it, you can feel it. Someone rolling from their back to their side to their stomach and back again hour after hour, not finding peace, just tossing and turning.
And when you arrive at your morning after a night of tossing and turning, you feel on edge. That's our second phrase, on edge.
On edge is a brilliant phrase. What does it mean exactly?
To feel on edge means to feel nervous, tense, or irritable, like you're slightly wound up, like your nerves are right at the surface, like even small things might bother you more than usual. For example, I've been feeling really on edge all morning. I think I'm just tired. Or, she snapped at him, but to be fair, she had been on edge since she woke up. Repeat, I've been on edge all morning. I've been on edge all morning.
And Lena, can I ask, have you had a morning recently where you woke up on edge, a real one?
Oh, yes, last week actually. I had a difficult conversation I was dreading, a work thing, and I had tossed and turned the night before. And I woke up and even my tea tasted wrong. Have you ever had that? When your mood is so off that normal things feel wrong?
Yes, when you're on edge, the tea hits differently. Everything hits differently. Even the sound of the kettle is annoying.
The kettle. Why is it so loud today? I never noticed the kettle before, but now I notice the kettle. That's on edge. That's exactly on edge.
The on-edge kettle. Classic. Okay, so the day has started poorly, you're tired, you're on edge, and then you get to work or school or wherever you need to be, and the day doesn't ease up. It hits you immediately.
You sit down, you open your laptop, and oh, there are 42 unread messages, 3 urgent tasks, 2 meetings you had forgotten about, and it's not even 9:30 yet.
And the word for that feeling, for that moment when you look at everything on your plate and think, how, is swamped. I'm absolutely swamped.
Swamped. Swamped means overwhelmed with too much work or too many things to deal with at once. It comes from the image of being in a swamp, being stuck in deep, heavy water that makes every movement an effort. For example, sorry, I couldn't call back. I've been absolutely swamped today. Or, she looked swamped. There were papers everywhere and she hadn't even had lunch yet. Repeat, I've been absolutely swamped. I've been absolutely swamped.
And the thing about being swamped is it's not just the volume of work, it's the feeling of not knowing where to start. Because when you have one task, you just start. But when you have 42 tasks, your brain freezes. It can't prioritize. It just stares.
The brain stare. The I'm looking at my list, but I'm not seeing my list stare. I know it so well.
It's a very specific kind of paralysis. And then, in the middle of all this chaos, something unexpected happens. Something comes out of nowhere. And our fourth phrase is exactly that, out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere means suddenly and unexpectedly, without any warning. You didn't see it coming. It wasn't on your plan. It just appeared. For example, out of nowhere, my manager called and said the deadline had been moved to today. Or, I was feeling fine, and then out of nowhere, I just felt completely exhausted. Repeat. And then out of nowhere, everything changed. And then out of nowhere, everything changed.
And out of nowhere is such a useful phrase because it captures that very specific feeling of, I wasn't prepared for this, I didn't see this coming, and now I have to deal with it anyway.
Which, if you think about it, is most of what actually happens in a real day. The plan exists, and then out of nowhere, the plan changes. And you adapt, because that's what humans do.
That is what humans do. Okay, so the morning is intense, you're swamped, things are coming out of nowhere, and there's a moment, somewhere around 10 or 11, when you have to make a decision. Are you going to let the chaos run you, or are you going to knuckle down?
Knuckle down. This is one of my favorite phrases in today's word tour. To knuckle down means to apply yourself seriously to a task, to focus and work hard without distraction or excuses. It has a kind of determination in it, a stubbornness, like, fine, I'm tired, things are messy, but I'm going to knuckle down and push through.
For example, I wasted an hour feeling overwhelmed, and then I just knuckled down and got it done. Or, there's a time for thinking and a time for knuckling down. Right now, it's the second one. Repeat, I knuckled down and got it done. I knuckled down and got it done.
And I want to say knuckling down doesn't mean being hard on yourself. It means making a quiet, firm decision. Okay, here we go. One task at a time. I can do this.
One task at a time, that's actually the only antidote to being swamped. You can't do everything at once, but you can always do one thing. And one thing leads to the next.
And Marcus, when you knuckle down, what does that physically look like for you?
Honestly, I close everything except the one thing I'm working on. Every other tab, every other notification, gone. And I tell myself this one thing for the next 30 minutes. Just this, nothing else. And that narrow focus usually works. Within about 5 minutes, I'm actually in it.
The single task focus, yes. And the first 5 minutes are always the hardest. Once you're in, you're in. It's getting in that takes effort.
Always. The starting is the hard part. Once you start, momentum builds. And momentum is everything when you're trying to knuckle down on a difficult day.
Okay, so you knuckled down, you got through the morning, it's now early afternoon, and something happens that happens to almost everyone, especially after a bad night's sleep. You hit a wall.
Hit a wall. Yes. To hit a wall means to reach a point where you suddenly cannot continue at the same level. Your energy drops, your focus disappears, your brain simply refuses to cooperate anymore. Like you've been running and you literally ran into a solid wall.
For example, I was doing so well, and then around 2 o'clock, I just hit a wall completely. Or athletes hit a wall during long races. The body simply says, enough. Repeat. Around 2 o'clock, I just hit a wall. Around 2 o'clock, I just hit a wall.
And the afternoon wall is such a specific, real, almost universal experience. Scientists even have a name for it, the post-lunch dip. Around 1 to 3 p.m., human energy and alertness naturally drop. Even if you slept fine, it's just biology. Your body wants to rest.
And when you have not slept well, the wall hits even harder because you're running on reserves already, and the afternoon just takes those reserves.
And in those moments, when you are sitting at your desk and your eyes keep getting heavier, you doze off. Or you almost doze off and then catch yourself and jerk awake and feel embarrassed even though nobody saw.
This sudden head drop jerk awake in a meeting? Oh, I have been there.
In a meeting, Marcus.
Not a very important meeting, I want to be clear, but yes, the slight doze, the head drop, the very aggressive awake jerk, and then the am I still in the meeting? Check. Yes, still in the meeting. Nobody noticed. Hopefully.
Hopefully. To doze off means to fall into a light, unintentional sleep. Not a proper sleep, just a drift, a slip, a moment where your eyes closed and you were not fully aware of it until something brought you back. For example, I was trying to read, but I kept dozing off. I had to stand up to stay awake. Or he dozed off on the sofa and woke up 2 hours later completely confused. Repeat. I kept dozing off in the afternoon. I kept dozing off in the afternoon.
And the thing about dozing off, the guilt of it. You wake up and you think, how long was I gone? What did I miss?
The guilt is real. But you know what cures the dozing off feeling? A much-needed break. And that is our next phrase.
Much needed break. And I love this phrase because of the word much needed. Not just a break, a much needed one. The adjective is doing so much work there. It tells you this was not optional. This was required. This was overdue. This break was not a luxury. It was a necessity.
For example, after 5 hours of back-to-back meetings, I finally had a much-needed break. Or, even 10 minutes of fresh air can be a much-needed break that resets everything. Repeat. I finally had a much-needed break. I finally had a much-needed break.
And I want to say something about breaks. Many people, especially hardworking people, feel guilty about taking breaks, like a break means you're being lazy or that you're falling behind.
And the opposite is true. Breaks are not the enemy of productivity. Breaks are productivity. A brain that has had a 10-minute rest produces better work than a brain that has been grinding for 4 hours without stopping. The rest is part of the work.
The rest is part of the work. Take your break. Take it without guilt. And after the much-needed break, you come back and you feel more at ease. That is our next phrase. At ease, feeling relaxed, comfortable, and not tense, settled, and in a state of natural flow.
For example, after my break, I finally felt at ease. I could actually think clearly again. Or, there is something about a short walk outside that puts you at ease almost instantly. Repeat. After my break, I felt completely at ease. After my break, I felt completely at ease.
And evening now. The day is over, you're home, and you're able to look back on the day with a little more perspective. And our 10th phrase, looking back on it.
Looking back on it means reflecting on a past experience with perspective, seeing it differently now that you have some distance from it. For example, it was a really hard morning, but looking back on it, I handled it better than I thought I did. Or, looking back on it, I was much more stressed than the situation actually needed. Repeat. Looking back on it, I got through it. Looking back on it, I got through it.
And I love this phrase specifically for English learners, because looking back on your English journey, you can always see growth, even when in the middle of it, you couldn't see it.
Always. In the middle of learning something, you can't always see the progress. But looking back on it, even just a few months later, you can see how far you've come. The phrases you didn't know, the conversations you were afraid of, and now you're having them.
Okay, sentence starters. Because one of the hardest moments in English conversation is the blank moment, when the words aren't coming out fast enough and the silence stretches and you panic. Sentence starters are a lifeline. They buy you time.
7 sentence starters. Say each one out loud with us. Number 1. To be honest signals a genuine, candid answer. To be honest, I was completely swamped this morning. Say it. To be honest.
Number 2. If I'm being honest, slightly more emphatic. If I'm being honest, it was one of those days. Say it. If I'm being honest.
Number 3. Looking back on it, reflection and perspective. Looking back on it, the morning was not as bad as it felt at the time. Say it. Looking back on it.
Number 4. Out of nowhere introduces something unexpected. Out of nowhere, my whole schedule changed and I had to adapt. Say it. Out of nowhere.
Number 5. The thing is introduces the real point. The thing is, I was already on edge when I woke up. Say it. The thing is.
Number 6. All in all signals a summary or overall conclusion. All in all, it was a tough day, but I got through it. Say it. All in all.
And number 7. What got me through introduces what helped. What got me through was a much-needed break and some fresh air. Say it. What got me through.
Okay, Marcus, let's do the full day conversation. I'm going to ask you how your day was, and I want you to just answer naturally, using as many of today's phrases as you can.
Okay, this feels like a test.
It is a gentle test. Ready? So, Marcus, how was your day?
Okay, so, to be honest, it started rough. I had tossed and turned the night before. I just couldn't switch my brain off. So I woke up already on edge. Everything felt a bit louder than usual, if that makes sense.
It makes complete sense. And then?
And then I sat down to work and I was just swamped immediately. Like before I had even had my second coffee, there were already 6 things that needed my attention. And then out of nowhere, someone asked me for something urgent that wasn't on my plan at all. And I had that moment of, okay, breathe, knuckle down, one thing at a time.
Good. Keep going.
And I got through the morning. But around 2, I completely hit a wall. I was sitting there and I was gone, completely gone. I think I almost dozed off at my desk, which I refused to feel embarrassed about because I was genuinely running on empty. So I stepped outside for a much-needed break. Proper walk, proper air, came back, felt more at ease, and finished the afternoon actually quite well.
And now, looking back on it?
Looking back on it, it was a hard day, but I got through it. And I always get through it. That's the thing. Even the hard days, they end, and you get through them. And tomorrow is a different day.
That's a really beautiful answer, Marcus. And how many of today's phrases did you use?
Let me count. Tossed and turned, on edge, swamped, out of nowhere, knuckle down, hit a wall, almost dozed off, much needed break, at ease, looking back on it, all 10.
All 10 in one completely natural, completely flowing answer to a single question. You didn't stop to explain them, you just used them, and every single one landed naturally.
Because they're natural. These aren't textbook phrases. They're the phrases real people actually use when they talk about their days. And once you have them, once they're in your head and in your mouth, they just come.
And now it's your turn. We want you to answer the question, how was your day? Use at least 3 of today's phrases and write your answer in the comments right now before you close this video. Even one sentence. To be honest, I was swamped today. That's enough. That's real English. That's you using your voice.
We'll read it. We'll reply. Because your English matters to us every single day.
Quick recap. All 10 phrases. I give the phrase, Marcus gives the meaning. Fast. Ready?
Ready.
Toss and turn.
To move restlessly in bed at night because you can't sleep.
On edge.
Feeling tense, nervous, or irritable. Wound up just below the surface.
Swamped.
Completely overwhelmed with too much work or too many demands at once.
Out of nowhere.
Suddenly and unexpectedly, without any warning.
Knuckle down.
To start working seriously and with focus. To commit and push through.
Hit a wall.
To suddenly reach a point of exhaustion where you can't continue effectively.
Doze off.
To fall into a light, unintentional sleep, often briefly, without meaning to.
Much needed break.
A break that was genuinely necessary, not a luxury, but a real requirement.
At ease.
Relaxed, comfortable, and not tense. settled, and in a natural flow.
Looking back on it.
Reflecting on a past experience with perspective, seeing it differently now that time has passed.
10 phrases, 1 full day. All yours now.
Okay, everyone, we're at the end of episode 17 of Duolingo English, and I have to say, I genuinely loved this one because it's so practical, so immediately usable. These aren't phrases for a formal essay or an advanced exam. These are phrases for Tuesday. For the moment a colleague asks, "How was your day?" and you actually want to answer them properly.
For the WhatsApp message to a friend, for the dinner table conversation, for the English-speaking meeting where you want to describe your morning without just saying busy. These phrases are for real life, and real life happens every day.
And that's exactly why we upload every single day. Because your English deserves daily contact, daily practice, daily conversation. Not once a week, every day. We're here every day, and we'd love for you to be here every day too.
Please subscribe and turn on notifications. Episode 18 is coming tomorrow, and the day after that, episode 19. Every day, new language, new stories, new growth. And please write your answer to "How was your day?" in the comments, using at least one phrase from today. We'll read it, we'll reply.
Share this episode with someone who always says fine when someone asks how they are. Maybe this episode gives them the words for what fine actually feels like. Maybe fine is actually, I was swamped and hit a wall, but I knuckled down, and looking back on it, I did okay. And that is a story worth telling.
That is a story worth telling. Thank you, everyone, for spending part of your day with us, for learning, for practicing. We'll see you tomorrow, here for episode 18. Until then, take care of yourselves. And if today was hard, it's okay. You got through it. You always do. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Lena. And remember, to be honest, looking back on it, all in all, you did great today. Bye.